and welcome to the Tali Loz podcast, where we discover spirituality together. I welcome back Jeff, our evolutionary astrologist, and she's going to talk about the Virgo season. What can we expect, and how can we help ourselves for certain energies this month? Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. I do have a little bit of a cold, so if people think, hey, what's wrong with her voice?
Get well very soon, and I feel like you are following the seasons, because in the Virgo season we of course will be talking a lot about health.
Yes, so it's sort of like seasonal as well. I think over the last 2 days I've been out and about a lot as well for my freelance work. So I'm doing a lot of walking outside, going on the tube, going out of the tube. And I think that's why I probably have a bit of a cold today. So we're going to talk about astrology. And in our very first episode of the podcast, you do explain the specific direction of evolutionary astrology. So if people don't know exactly what it is, we'd love to refer you back to the first episode. So on the firstly, we're going to talk Virgo. We just entered Virgo season.
Correct. On the 22nd of August, the sun moved out of Leo, very vibrant, very buoyant, very much on stage. And it moved into the Virgo season, which has shifted the whole energy. It's more humble, it's more service-oriented, it's more introspective. So there are a lot of different sides to Virgo, which feel quite different from the Leo energies.
Yes, I do feel it myself, actually. It's a really big shift. I think it's like the creativity goes a bit lower and a bit slower. And now I'm like, oh, I want to help people. And, the customers are asking for help for picking crystals. And I'm like, oh, yes, I can help you with that.
Correct. And you could even feel like it became much more dynamic, and we are much more into the tasks and lists and spreadsheets and what we need to accomplish. And
Yes.
It's just faster, right?
Yes, definitely. So what can we expect this month, really? Like, what are the healthy expressions that we're going to see, and the sort of quote unquote unhealthy expressions that we're going to experience this month?
It's beautiful that you're asking this, because I know that people typically, they're just saying, what is the forecast? What's going on? But if we look at it from the perspective of the seasons, like me and you are doing now every month, I love to look at it from the pure energy perspective, right? So if we are all kind of swimming along in the Virgo season, it means that we're feeling this energy. As you said, it's very different from the previous season. And so it's great to approach it consciously and mindfully and know what is the healthy side and what is the unhealthy side, and where we may kind of lose ourselves a little bit. So let's start with the healthy expressions of the Virgo energy, right? Which we have the very good chance to use right now and to leverage right now, okay?
Yes.
So Virgo, first of all, this energy is a lot about service to people. Okay, it is the energy or people with the strong Virgo energy. They are generally very helpful. They like to offer help. They like to support people. They like to improve something. And it's amazing, because we have this deep need inside of us to do something useful and to be useful, of useful nature. So this is for Virgo, that sits very, very deep and can be very helpful to others. Okay. And then Virgo can be also very humble and at times a little bit shy. And this is also a huge shift from the Leo energies. While Leo wants to be on the stage, it wants attention, it craves recognition. Virgo is not that. Virgo can be in the shadow. It rather be somewhere in the background, doing her thing, being very practical, very detail oriented, very much kind of service oriented, right?
Yes.
Then we also can say that Virgo, since it is ruled by Mercury, the planet of thinking and communication, then people with the strong Virgo energies, or we may also feel it in this season, it has a very keen analytical mind. So obviously, when we speak about details, these can be details on the outside, like remembering all the small details, what we need to do, when is the timeline, how to accomplish it, down to really small details. For example, when you work with clients, I know that you're packaging your crystals beautifully and
thank you.
the instructions there of what does it mean, how to work with the stone, what to do with it, what not to do with it. And so all those small details, practical, how to organize it, how to deliver it on time, right? But also it spans much further, that it's not only external details, it is also the benefit of internal details, meaning that the Virgo season can direct us towards introspection.
Right. So it's a great time to work on yourself as well.
Absolutely. It's not only external improvement, it's also self-improvement. It's understanding of what do we do, how do we react, what kind of internal patterns do we expose, and why. So quite a few things which are bringing us back to ourselves.
Right. Yeah. So that makes total sense, actually, because I've been looking, obviously, to myself as well. And this weekend, I'm going to take as my weekend. I'm not going to socialize or anything. And I just want to be me. But also, I really want to just tidy up and clear out the house and feel like I want to get rid of things. And I want to do my stock take of everything that I've got. And so that makes so much sense. But I want also me time. Because I've been out and about and a lot and talking to people, socializing. And to be honest with you, this weekend, I just don't want to do that.
It's beautiful. And you just reminded me of one really funny episode. I was listening to one of the podcasts, obviously I'm educating myself as well in terms of astrology, and I'm listening to my favorite astrologers and being inspired by them. And a few years ago, I was listening about the Virgo season, and the lady said, the Virgo can actually be a verb. Like, I will Virgo my house, which will mean, to clean it, to get rid of stuff, to push some things which are not necessary to sell or anything of the kind. So we can Virgo our lives, we can Virgo our houses.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that. I'm going to use that, actually. I'm going to Virgo everything this weekend, especially. But it's great that because I've been sort of planning like the last 2-3 weeks, like that is the weekend, without realizing why it was. It just felt good. But now it really drops the ball, actually.
And perfect. I love it.
Just intuitively. And I think the same with crystals that we talked about, because we made some crystal sets. So on your astrology advice, I picked crystals for it. And I've been really attracted to, for example, carnelian. And carnelian is very good to take care of yourself. And I picked it at the beginning of the week, and I don't know why, and I carry it with me, and because I just choose it intuitively. And now I realize that it is to taking care of yourself. So it just always comes together. It's intuition and trust your gut and just go with your intuition. But it actually always has a reason, right?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
There are no accidents in this universe, because if we want to kind of wrap up the description of the healthy expressions of Virgo, Virgo also rules our daily routines, our rituals. So, for example, when we like how our morning starts, we like to, do the meditation or go into the shower or have a specific breakfast. So we have some kind of a ritual, the morning ritual, which we like, and we don't like it to be disturbed. So that can be the Virgo part, which I want the things go in the morning my way, so to say, without interruption.
Yes.
And of course, Virgo also rules our health and healing. Okay, so that comes all together. So the health is very important, especially, in this time for sure, but also in this season. It's taking care and paying attention around what kind of routines and practices we would like to undertake, okay? Because in the summer, we typically, drop all the things and practices, and we just go out and about and spending time with the friends and on the beach and maybe drink a little bit or anything.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah. And then starting end of August, beginning of September, we kind of start another year, so to say, or business year or anything of the kind. And that's a good start period of thinking, okay, all right, what kind of practice or what kind of routine would I like to start right now? Would I like to do a detox? Would I like to introduce another diet? Would I like to start yoga or pretty much anything around the health and healing? Because Virgo is the energy of a goddess, but also it is the energy of a doctor or a nurse or a nun. It's really this healing and service to people and humbleness in one package. So to say.
One package, right? Yeah, 'cause I believe Virgo is also one of my archetypes that you told me as well.
Correct.
Yes. And well, that makes again a lot of sense. Like with a lot of quarters, a quartz is perfect. Like whether it's amethyst or clear quartz or rutilated quartz, it's perfect for the Virgo, but it's perfect for everybody in Virgo season. It makes a lot of sense. It's the stones of healing, and yeah, it's perfect.
Absolutely. It is for also those people who would like to be grounded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Virgo is very grounded, very practical, knows how to achieve things in terms of, sometimes we approach some kind of a task or a project and we think, oh my God, there is just so much work that needs to be done there. And we can become overwhelmed, or we don't know where to start, or we lack discipline. And so Virgo helps us to become organized in terms of not to be too overwhelmed with the amount of work that we see in front of us, but it says, what's your best next step?
Right. Perfect. Perfect. This is probably the reason why I've been delaying to, not delaying, but sort of not started on the really big pieces of my business plan that I should
Correct.
make.
Yeah,
and now is the time to start.
Now is the time to work on the planning, to put together a plan. And also, as I said, not to be overwhelmed, but take it really step by step. Even small step counts. And Virgo season is very much supportive of that.
Oh, that's so exciting. Wow. And what are sort of the quote unquote unhealthy expressions that we have to take care of this month?
Oh, that's a good question, because if we are working with the energy unconsciously, if we don't know what are the shadow sides, then it may, overtake. And yeah, it's good to be mindful. It's good to know how it also expresses itself. And so the unhealthy expressions of this energy is, I will start with the part which is related to Mercury, to this thinking and communication and so on. So since Virgo is ruled by Mercury, then of course the unhealthy expression is overdoing it, meaning overthinking and anxiety.
Wow. Okay.
So people with the strong energies of Virgo, or also right now with the shift of energies, we may find ourselves that we suddenly, our minds sped up, twice or even 3 times, and they running around, and you should do this, and don't forget that, and don't forget about this list which we haven't finished yet, right? So there can be a lot of overthinking and spinning of the mind, of the thoughts, which may lead to insomnia as well. It's hard to fall asleep because the mind is still on. All right.
Okay, right. So we need a lot of like calming, and we would even focus more on the night ritual as well. Take a nice bath and put some incense or sage. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Meditation is key these days. It's really, really, really necessary for us to, even if it's 2 minutes, even if it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes, it is still great to come back to oneself, to ground oneself, to come back to the present moment, and to slow down the mind, because the mind can lead us far and can bag us as the, tail wags the dog.
Yes. Okay. So for everybody, just nice essential oils, and just take care of yourself in the evening. Take some time for your night ritual, and then it should help to contradict the expression, the unhealthy expression of insomnia and overthinking. And
Correct.
yes.
Correct. Yes. Also may accompany all those thoughts can be the thoughts of doubt, self-doubt, for example, or some kind of guilt that they are not, like people sometimes may think I'm not helping as I should, or giving other people as much energy as I should, or maybe I'm not perfect enough, or I'm not good enough. So that's also the unhealthy expression of Virgo. A lot of times I can see people with the strong Virgo energies, my clients who are coming to me, there is almost always an issue with the low self-esteem.
Okay. Right. And
Trying to strive.
Is it only Virgos as a sun sign, or even when they've got the archetypes of the Virgo, like myself?
When I refer to strong energies of Virgo, absolutely, it doesn't go only for the sun sign. There can be a lot of other, underwater energies, so to say, because astrology is quite complex, right? It's not very easy. And so people only tend to know their sun sign. And so they typically they think, oh, if I'm the sun sign, that's all there is, which is not correct. The sun sign is only the top of an iceberg that we are. There are so many different energies. There are so many different layers. And so this is why I'm saying people with the strong Virgo energies. And that can mean anything. That can mean that a person has several planets in Virgo. That means that a person can have several planets in Virgo house. It may mean, so archetypes, we're referring to archetypes, that would be the Pluto or the South Node. So there are a lot of different placements which are showing whether this energy is very strong for you in this lifetime. But for that, you need your natal chart. You need to take a look at that.
Yes, which you can do for everybody, by the way.
Absolutely, very happy.
Yes, I will put the link of to contact Jeff actually in the descriptions as well. I highly recommend it. If you heard the first episode, you know why, because I told in the first episode why it was good for me. And so coming back to other unhealthy expressions this month, what else can we do to help ourselves?
Oh, right. So another unhealthy expression can be striving for perfection, right? Perfectionism. Many Virgos or people with Virgo energies, or also the season overall can have the influence on us that we may want perfection. And we tend to believe that perfection is great, or our mind is tricking us to believe that perfection is great. But in reality, there is nothing perfect in this life. The life itself is not perfect. And so what happens is that we push ourselves too high, too much. And then, of course, we're questioning ourselves whether we're good enough, whether we are, worthy enough, and so on. And that can also lead to the shadow side of being very critical of others, critical of self, having negative self-talk, and even being nitpicking, like this is not good and this is not good enough, and so that we literally need to catch out, because this is what our mind is imagining or putting together how it should be, and not actually accepting what is.
Right. Yeah. So again, it comes down to the self-care that we should be doing this month.
Self-care for both, for ourselves and towards others as well. Because it starts with ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. This is how we talk to others. If we constantly catch ourselves with a negative self-talk, right, this is how we will talk to other people. And so that is very, very important. With this gift of Virgo of being introspective, it's really easy to actually check. How do we talk to ourselves, especially in some situations when, I don't know, we drop something, for example. What would be the first thing you say to yourself? Are you trying to bash on yourself, right? And saying, how could you? Or you're kind to yourself, you're accepting, and you're saying, well, all right, it happened. I will try not to do that next time.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's very important overall in life, isn't it? Just to, I think I can't remember where it was. Maybe on Oprah. Could be Oprah. Oprah says everything. But years ago, she said this similar thing that often people say, "Oh, you idiot," and I'm guilty of that as well. But to myself, if I do something wrong or knock over or whatever, I say, "Oh, you idiot." But actually, that really goes down in your roots. So you should try to not say that. But it's very difficult to stop doing that.
It is, but with the conscious practice, over time, you're changing that. And you can see massive change in how you feel, massive change in how you relate to yourself, and massive change also in how you start talking to other people. Right?
Yes.
So that is very, very important. And then the last thing with an unhealthy expression of Virgo is the health issues, right? Because Virgo rules health. And so when we experience health issues, sometimes mental health issues, sometimes physical health issues, and so on and so forth, that would mean that our energies are not in balance, that we probably, most probably, highly probable, we have overextended ourselves, we have overpoured our energy in other sources and in giving to other people, other jobs, other responsibilities in our lives, and we didn't give enough to ourselves.
Yes, and I'm nodding very heavily right now with my cold.
Oh, yes. But what would you recommend? Yes. Do you have a good selection of crystals to help overthinking, anxiety, and also being a little bit more accepting and kind to oneself?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially, I love tree agate. It's not many people go for tree agate. I think it's one of the slowest one that I do have on my website, but it's so good for the perfectionist in us, just to pull us back, ground us, just to help with that letting go and taking care of ourselves. I think that's a beautiful one as well, and it really also works in the heart chakra. So again, it's like being kind to yourself and also good to others. So I think that's a beautiful crystal as well to carry this month. I guess we can recap this session with you to take care of yourself, focus on night rituals, especially just to help sleep better as well, and to turn off your mind of the overthinking and take care of your health. Is that right,
Beautiful.
Jeff?
Beautiful, absolutely. As always, we're striving towards balance because on one hand, Virgo is helping us to plan ahead, to take small, little, but practical steps towards what we would like to accomplish, and also to take care of our health and notice what kind of negative self-talk patterns we exercise. But on the other hand, of course, we need to also become kinder to oneself, not to be too pushy, too perfectionist, and so on. And health, that's a big thing this season. Yeah, it is helpful to understand this energy overall, how it works, and what are how can we work with this better, what to avoid and what to use to the maximum extent, right? And then I would like to also give a little bit of the overview of the upcoming new moon and full moon. So that is really what is coming, and what do I see? I've been preparing for this podcast with you, and I was looking into the charts. So first we have the new moon in Virgo, 15 degrees, and that will happen on September 7th. Okay, so September 7th, and what I can see is that it's a beautiful new moon with some really supportive aspects. I personally really liked it. It will not be as potent and life-changing, so to say, as we had the full moons in Aquarius just recently. That was a little, hard to go through and to embrace all the transformation and changes and insights it delivered. So the new moon in Virgo is very beautiful, very supportive. As we just learned, Virgo is all about service to others, humility, health and healing, self-improvement, and practical manifestation of things, right?
Right.
And so what I see from some of the aspects, so for example, Uranus retrograde in Taurus will trine the sun and the moon in Virgo, bringing some I would say truly unexpected surprises, insights, opportunities, even higher perspectives, because Uranus doesn't like to be uncovered. It's not the planet which can be forecasted really easily. It brings unexpected change, unexpected surprise, but it's really, the trine is a really supportive aspect. It brings the flow, it brings the ease, it brings some really positive possibilities, okay?
Right.
Then I also can see the Venus in Libra trine Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius. And of course, both the Venus and Jupiter, they are both benefic planets, and trine is a positive aspect. So that brings luck and abundance and growth and support, especially around relationships and friendships and groups. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the time. And actually, I would say in the 2 upcoming months, all the new moons and full moons, this is the time when we will be working with relationships a lot.
Okay. Right.
Relationships, not necessarily romantic ones, but those as well. It's more the relationship overall. It's how we relate to people. How do we build relationships? Why do we do certain things? Why do we have certain bottlenecks, or where do we stumble? How do we communicate with each other? And how can we grow in those relationships? How can we change something? So that is really beautiful. And then, of course, since it is the new moon, it's always great to spend some time to have, to set new intentions, and also for anyone who is interested in healing modalities or becoming a healer. That is an amazing time, because that is opening the cycle for the next 6 months, right? So if you are someone who was always curious about something, be it crystals or astrology or human design or meditation or Reiki, anything, this is the great time to actually start trying it, start doing it, start putting a practice together, discerning what is healthy for you, what is unhealthy for you. So anything that is the beginning of the practice related to your health and healing and mental state, that is an amazing time. And it's also a total kind of cleanse of energy and mental clutter. And as we were talking with you, start Virgo your life.
Yes. Definitely. Oh, wow. Well, you're going to start another session soon with your course as well.
Correct.
Around that time. So for people, do you still have any spots left in your course for this?
I have 2 or 3 spots left. So anyone who is interested, please contact me and I will share the details, because I'm still working on my website. But I realized that in the first episode, I said that the course is lasting 6 months. And I was like, oh my God, this is not correct. It's actually 6 weeks.
6
so
weeks.
I managed to scare it's 6 weeks.
That's so good. I guess the 6 months can also count as self-improvement time afterwards.
Oh, yes.
That is definitely what is going to happen with this course with Jeff. Yes, for anyone, please contact Jeff if you're very curious about her course, because apparently what Jeff just said, it's the perfect time to start doing that.
Ideal.
Yes, it's an ideal time.
Yes, thank you so much. And then later in the month, we will have the full moon in Pisces in 28 degrees, and that will happen on the September 20th. Okay, so a little bit later, and just before we will step into the Libra season. So this full moon closes a 6-month cycle and themes since the new moon in Pisces back in March.
Right.
Okay. So the moons always work in 6-month cycles. And Pisces is all about unconditional love and kindness and compassion, as well as our connection to spirituality, to divine, to inspiration and creativity. And of course, every full moon we can say it's an invitation to look back and check on those themes and how far you've come during the past 6 months, and what kind of conclusions or realizations are coming your way. What can you say, in relation to creativity, in relation to spirituality, in relation to kindness, what has changed since March and between March and now? How have I changed? What kind of lessons came my way? Am I less perfectionistic now? Can I trust the universe more? Do I feel its support? And so on and so forth. And so this full moon is conjunct Neptune, retrograde in Pisces, which is the ruler of this full moon, and that brings almost a double portion of Piscean energy.
Wow.
It's a lot. In very helpful way, it can help dissolve what no longer serves, dissolve anxiety, dissolve overthinking, dissolve those feelings of inferiority or striving for perfection. And that is great. This is really very good time to kind of, as a full moon, illuminate something hidden. It's really great with the help of Neptune to start dissolving those things. Like you were saying, that the negative self-talk can be hard to get rid of. This full moon is amazing because it can bring a very strong realization of how do we harm ourselves through that, and to actually, dissolve and let go of it. To release it. Yeah. Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
So it's a great time for people that do journal or do like to look back to around that time to do sort of your own how have I improved section.
Correct.
That's perfect.
Absolutely. And then we have Sun in Virgo is conjunct Mars in Libra. Mm-hmm. This might help with a healthy boost in the area of relationship, energy, motivation to, hang in there in relationships, because sometimes we need that boost as well to go through certain things and to kind of be loyal and to build something new can be as well. And what else can I see here is Uranus retrograde in Taurus will oppose Venus in Scorpio. As I said previously, Uranus does not like to be predicted. It will bring something unexpected. And since it's a position, then there can be some relationship surprises through some kind of tension, okay? Because, even events which are not always positive and shiny, they can bring those realizations forward. This is our the feedback loop. When something happens, we can start asking ourselves, why did this happen? Or how can I improve my relationship so that wouldn't happen again? Right? So that can be surprising, that can be sudden, very quick, some kind of situation which can help as a trigger to illuminate something and bring towards your awareness. All right.
Right.
And so that is an amazing full moon for two things, right? One is to actually dissolve all the those shadow sides of Virgo, the overthinking, the low self-esteem, the inferiority, the thinking I'm not good enough, or this mental chatter or insomnia and so on. And then on the other side is also some moving forward and improving relationships, looking deeper and understanding where do we have fears or vulnerabilities or defensiveness, and how can we have a new boost in relationships? How can we dissolve those outdated barriers and allow the growth and expansion? So,
wow, I think it's a beautiful month for ourselves, particularly.
Totally.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm actually really looking forward to this.
Me too.
I'm really looking forward to this month. It'd be great. And I'm also actually going to visit my family again, since with the pandemic, I can't do that often because they're living in the Netherlands. But it's a beautiful time because I always find it quite healing to see them. So it's, again, a perfect time for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, the main advice is find what is healing for you and your relationships.
That's a beautiful, beautiful saying. Thank you so much again, Jeff. This is so helpful for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a great Virgo season.
Thank you. See you next month.
Thank you so much for listening to the Tali Loz podcast. Next week, we have Lauren talking about witchcraft.